All right, I just finished the Laugavegur Trail and the extension in Iceland in 6 days, and I think I need to answer some of those questions that I've been asking other people as well. So here we go. I mean, Iceland's always been a complete destination for me. Something about the wild, the last frontier, if you want to call it that way, the land of fire and ice. Very harsh, very unforgivable. It's always intrigued me. I was here a couple of years ago and I did the Hornstrader as well and did the ring road, and I knew I'd come back. There was this famous trail called the Laugavegur. I didn't have time for it back then, but I've seen photos and videos of it and it's always been on my bucket list to do. So yeah, that's why I came back. I got a space in the hut and I did it, and Iceland was very kind to me. The weather was not too bad, and I had some of those amazing views that I could ever wish for. So, well, I know that I will be back again because there's so much more to explore here. Actually, I can't think of anything that I packed that I didn't use, which is a good thing. I actually use everything in my bag. My batteries are dead. I used all my gear at least once, so it's nothing that I can say that I wouldn't have brought with. Only thing I didn't use was my beanie and my buffs, because it wasn't as cold, but something I would never leave at home because you never know, you might need it. Funny enough, I only realized this later. I packed all the medications and everything, and after a while I scraped my fingers a bit and I realized I didn't pack bandages, like normal bandages. I got blister plasters and all these kind of things, but normal plasters I didn't have. So that's one thing I sort of missed out on. I also missed out on my shower gel. I did actually buy, I just never packed it, which is weird. But luckily the the huts were quite well stocked up, and I could buy one of these travel sort of shower gels. Actually, it wasn't part of the normal Laugavegur Trail. I mean, that was beautiful, of course, but actually this morning when I finished when I started the last day, I woke up at about 6 a.m. I went outside because that's where the bathrooms are, to go to the bathroom, and when I walked out it was blue skies and some of those amazing views, and you had these glaciers surrounding you, and it's very quiet, nothing around you, completely remote in the mountains. And I actually just took 15 minutes and just sat there and took it all in. It was quite a moment for me, so I'm very happy I did that extension. So that was probably the highlight for me, just being so remote and between the glaciers with perfect weather, actually above the clouds, of blue skies, nothing above you. Yeah, it was incredible. For me it actually was. I think it might be worthwhile to bring an extra pair in case you need an extra, because this is how I work. I have one pair of socks for walking during the day, and then I've got a clean pair for in the evening when I'm in the huts basically. I want to be nice and comfy. So the reason I say you might want to have an extra pair is that if you do river crossings or there is rain and maybe your socks get wet, and you probably want to maybe switch it out for a dry pair while the other ones sort of dry out. I luckily didn't need that. Unfortunately, this is part of hiking, a part of backpacking, and every morning you are sort of putting slightly damp socks still on your feet, and not the nicest feeling. It doesn't smell very good, but it does keep the weight down. So yeah, so the 2 socks for me was fine for this one, but a third one may be recommended. Yeah, you spend a lot of time sort of walking on your own. I'm of course a solo hiker from a lot of these trips, and you have a lot of time to think, and for me it's been interesting, especially towards the end of the trail. I'm always quite shy around sort of my YouTubing and my videos that I make, because I didn't start as a YouTuber. I started as someone that loves hiking and nature, and then I started making videos from that and sort of grew from there. So I'm not an actual YouTuber, right? But now I'm sort of realizing that's what I've really become. I'm not an influencer, anything like this, but I do enjoy making content and putting it out there and sort of helping other people that also want to sort of embark on some of these journeys. give them some real sort of feedback of what it is day to day, some helpful info of how to organize it for yourself, etc., etc. So, and now even in this trail, I started becoming more vocal about, they can see me doing the footage. I start joking about how many times I have to walk up and down, and then it sort of leads into, do I make videos? And it's like, yeah, I mean, I've got a YouTube channel, and it's incredible to see how people are interested. They immediately want to follow you, subscribe, see what you're all about. So it's amazing to see that people actually want to know and they actually want to support you. So I've realized that about myself. I need to sort of come out of my shell and just talk a bit more about it. And it's amazing to see how receptive people are about it. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I think what I've realized over the last couple of trips is that I'm okay to be sort of in the same clothes. I mean, today I sort of put on a new shirt because the other one was just too wet and too smelly to continue on. So luckily I did have an extra shirt, but I'm actually fine sort of being in the same clothes every day. And I sort of I love this feeling at the end of the trip where you get back, you've been back to basics the whole time, and now suddenly you've got these luxuries like maybe a soda or a beer or a shower or clean clothes, right? So things that you take for granted every day, suddenly it becomes this huge luxury. Even being in a room now with a bed, right? That's just yours. You're not cramped with other people. And also another ha-ha moment for me is that when I walk, that I'm not, I enjoy walking. I'm not a professional hiker by any means, but I do tend to sort of be in my own mind. I do tend to maybe trip and sort of fall over a couple of times. So I have a couple of these blooper reels normally in my videos where I put in on purpose because just to see that everyone still slips and falls and almost face plants. And that happens, right? This is the mountains, there are trails, you slip, you slide, and it's life. And it's funny, and you have to laugh at yourself at the same time, right? Otherwise, you take yourself too seriously, and that's not what I'm about. It's difficult because I had to bring my own food because there wasn't it's not like the Laugavegur or the Tour de Blanc where you have these huts with like 3-course meals. So I had to have these freeze-dried meals, and I think that the Trek and Eat brand that I took, that was the best. Actually, it was just simple stuff like couscous and rice and Balkan rice with meat, and it was actually delicious. I like that brand more than the other ones. I also tried things like bobotie, bolognese, pasta, carbonara, and they were all okay, but I was actually quite surprised about that. So yeah, that was my highlight. Also their muesli for breakfast, that's surprisingly very good. I wish I had more of those actually. Yeah, and then from a snack perspective, in Iceland here I bought some of these oat bars that you get in the supermarkets, and they were delicious. I only had 2 of them. I wish I bought 5 of them. They're nice and chunky and they act like a good breakfast as well. So very cool. I've been dreaming about these trips for a while. So when you go through winter here in Europe, it goes for a while where you're not doing a lot of hiking or activities, and then suddenly summer season breaks, and then you want to try to fit in as much as possible. So after doing sort of the pack rafting and the Laugavegur and now Iceland, I just realized that I love this so much. So for the next couple of months, I'll do a couple of shorter ones, some weekend trips. Things like I'll go to Austria for a weekend trip there. Do a bit of hiking around Innsbruck. I'll go to pack rafting in Luxembourg as well one weekend. And then I actually would like to, of course, grow my channel. I think I'm finding my rhythm, the type of videos that I'd like making, and I think people will find useful and entertaining at the same time. So if you have feedback for me around how to improve some of my videos or channels, please let me know. If you think there's some destinations out there you think I should go to, please let me know as well. I'm always curious to hear about some nice routes. But yeah, the idea is to grow the channel, make more hiking content, more useful content for other people to inspire them, but also to help them plan the trips basically. And for next year, I'm thinking of doing peaks of the Balkans. I was in Macedonia recently, and those mountains are incredible. So that's a very cool trip that I'd like to do. Other ones that I'm thinking about is the Hout route as well. So similar to the Tour de Blanc, is going more towards the other side. And then also the Kungsleden in Sweden, the King's Trail. That's also another one that's been on my list for a while. Also a bit more remote. probably more towards September when it's a bit cooler, but maybe a chance of northern lights. So if you guys think those are cool trips and you want to see that, let me know, and I will try to do those. And if you have some other ideas or suggestions, let me know as well. I'm still quite flexible for what I'm doing next year. You know, it's difficult to say because everything worked out very well for me. I mean, all the huts were nice, the weather was brilliant, I saw the views that I wanted to do, I had no injuries or mishaps, so everything was perfect. So for me to go back and change anything is probably not a good idea because I was already very blessed and thankful. I think what I did feel is that most of the days, you know, I start around 7:30, 8 in the morning, and I'm normally done like between 12 and 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I still have a lot of the day left where I'm at the hut, normally first at the hut, and I'm just relaxing and reading and, you know, settling in. But if I had the option, I probably would have combined 1 or 2 of the days, especially because the weather was so good. But like I said, the weather worked out for me anyway. It just meant I could just relax a bit more and spend more time, you know, shooting videos and just taking it all in. So yeah, I would probably normally do longer days, just to do more hiking every day. But it was a brilliant trip anyway with the shorter days, and I got to meet a lot of good people in the process as well, because you sort of follow the same kind of rhythm. So yeah. I think there's 2 categories to this, right? I think from what I've seen, there's a huge portion of people that do the huts that are doing it by groups. A majority of people doing it by groups, and I think groups are a good idea if you're new to hiking, you want to try it out, you're a bit scared of the weather, these kind of things. And there's it seemed to be a couple of very good groups from Arctic Adventures and these kind of people that they transfer the bags, so you only have to carry your day pack. By the time you get there, all your other bags are already there. They make amazing meals. I saw, you know, eggs for breakfast. I saw lamb stews and soups. I saw salmon on a barbecue. I mean, the food was really incredible that we were making. They also had provided snacks and everything for people to use. And of course, you have a guide that sort of takes you through and helps and supports you. So that's a good option. I'm not sure what the cost is, so you're going to have to find that out on your own. I might drop some links. But that's an easy way to get into this hike, and then you also don't have to worry about the booking system basically to try to find a hut. The other category is, of course, if you're organizing by yourself, and you can either do that via the huts or via camping. Camping gives you more flexibility, but you're exposed to the weather, of course. So I would only do that option if you're comfortable in the tent, to be honest, because Iceland can be harsh. I was very lucky, but it can be harsh. So if you can get the huts, you normally have to book around September, October. It's like a booking system that you have to follow. But what I will do when I make these videos, I will also provide a full blog article on both the trails, both the Laugavegur and the extension, because you don't have to do them together, you can do them separate, right? And I'll give you all the tips and tricks from what you need and how to approach it, basically, depending on what type of hiker you are. I think one thing I'll note here is that the huts are actually quite well prepped. You know, they don't provide, of course, you know, 3-course meals, but every hut that I've seen, you know, did payments by card, right? Always have cash with you in case it doesn't work, but you know, everyone took payments by card. They had sodas, they had beers, they had snacks, they had basics, basically. Everything had running water, they had mattresses. So the huts were well geared, so I don't think I would have brought as much snacks and things like that. Just to keep the weight down, I would have bought as I go. It's a bit more expensive, of course, but it means your pack is lighter and you can decide on the moment what you're in the mood for, rather than pre-pack a lot of stuff that you might not be in the mood for on the trail. So that's my tips for someone that wants to do it. I would 100% recommend this trip. I mean, yeah, it can get a bit cold, so if you're in the huts, then you at least know you have a warm place to sleep. The huts inside are normally nice and toasty and warm, so you don't have to worry about that. But the scenery is unmatched. Very rarely do you get this kind of scenery in any other hike. You are walking through volcanic landscapes, seeing glaciers, seeing lots of waterfalls, and through barren lands and green mountains. I mean, the contrasts of color is just incredible. And it's not too difficult, which is actually quite nice. I mean, the first 2 days, there's a bit of climbing, about 600 meters, but nothing unmanageable, nothing too dangerous. And the third and fourth day is actually quite flat. It's quite easy days. You do a bit of river crossings, but it's not that deep. So you just take it slow and you just know what to expect. Then it's actually very, very manageable. So for the scenery that you get and for the difficulty level, I think it's a great trip to come and do. And this is a beautiful place that you have to see. There's a lot more to Iceland than just this hike, but in this one hike in 4 or 6 days, or even 2 days, you can actually see quite a lot. So highly recommend it. And if you have any questions, drop them and I can give you some good feedback and advice if I can. Otherwise, be happy exploring. Until next time, keep exploring.